Cheryl, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I have a super exciting video because I'm doing the worst books I read in 2020. So basically I'll be talking about the books that did not work for me, books that I did not care for. So I just wanted to put a little disclaimer. I am not attacking the authors of this book, or you if you like these books. I don't like to read books that I know I won't enjoy, so I wish I could have liked them, and I'm just here to do a funny video. I am not sending hate to anyone. I don't want to start any drama. So if you're not comfortable with seeing someone talk badly about some books or maybe some of your favorite books, please exit out of this video. You can see me next time. I just don't want any hate comments down below. So please know that I'm doing this just for fun, for entertainment purposes. I don't want to make anyone mad or upset. And if you do like any of these books, comment down below why you like them. Maybe you'll change my mind and I'll start actually enjoying them. So I picked out 10 books for this list. Some of them I really did not enjoy. So without further ado, let's do this. The first book I have in this pile of books is I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells. This was a book I read before starting my booktube channel, so you'll have some books here that I never mentioned before. And this book follows John Wayne Cleaver, a teenager who's super obsessed with serial killers. And throughout this book, he tries to convince himself that he isn't a serial killer for the sake of his family and the people around him. But he does have some visions and feelings that he can't really control about killing. So I went into this book thinking it would be a different type of thriller where we could read in the mind of a serial killer or a serial killer to be, but boy was I wrong. So in the story there are some murders happening, but this is a supernatural thriller. I dislike supernatural thrillers. I don't like the sort of like monster type stories. So this was definitely not my preference. It wasn't a bad book. It was just not something that I really enjoy. That's why it's on this list, because I went into it thinking it was gonna be something and it turned out to be something completely different, and it's also a series and I have no interest in continuing on with the series. It was just a big no-no for me. The story dragged a little bit and the ending was not my favorite. So yeah. The second book I have in this list is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I bought this book because it was in the $5 section of Barnes & Noble and it was signed. It was like, oh my god, what a great deal. Now I know why it was there. It's just not it. So this has a super interesting premise. It's about these three girls who used to be obsessed with this book called The Way into Lovelorn. And we follow two of the girls who are now being convicted because they killed their friend, but they didn't do it. I loved the idea of this book. I thought this was such a unique thriller idea, but the execution was not it for me. The ending. It was just such a boring ending. Like, the plot twist wasn't shocking at all. It was just boring. And it ruined this book for me because I was super obsessed with it and enjoying it until the plot twist came. And I was like, ew, no thanks. And I'm really sad because it's signed. But yeah, this was not for me. I think I can say this was the book I hated the most out of my list. When the Lights Go Out by Mary Kubica, another book that I read before starting booktube, and god, I paid $27 on this copy because it was signed. I did that. For it to be trash. I can't believe I spent my money on this. So this book follows Jessie Sloan, and she is trying to start her life over again after taking care of her sick mother. But when she goes into college, they inform her that her social number is kind of weird, and then she gets pulled into this mystery about what's happening with her family, and she starts to doubt everything she knows. She also suffers from insomnia, so she doesn't know what's real or what's her imagination, like her hallucinations. She doesn't know if she can even count on herself and trust herself. The story sounds intriguing, but This was like a 5th grader essay. You wanna know why? You wanna know why? I will spoil the book, but I don't recommend you reading it anyway, so I don't think you'll mind. This whole book, we follow the story of her finding out her family's full of secrets. There's this little girl involved. We're all like pulled in. We want to know what's gonna happen. The story gets so twisted and dark super fast, but it was all a dream. What? She literally left us hanging. She didn't solve the mystery. When things got too complicated for her to solve, she was like, nope, she was dreaming. And she woke up and nothing happened. I wasted my money and my time on this book for the thriller part of it not to exist. What? Who thought this was gonna be a good idea? What? What? She woke up. It gets me mad just thinking about it. So yeah, don't recommend this one. Not it. The next book in my list, you guys probably know if you've been watching my channel for some time. There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This was a book that I read for the Summerween readathon. I'll link the vlog. I have some very funny reactions to it. And this is sort of like a slasher movie, like an old slasher movie. That's the description of this book. We follow this girl who's bikini young, and she goes into this school and people start to die, and she's trying to investigate on what's happening. Stephanie Perkins is a romance author. She wrote Anna and the French Kiss, and she should have just stuck to that. She tried to incorporate romance and thrillers, but the thriller part was lacking. So it was literally makeout session after makeout session. The thriller part was not there. And the ending, can we talk about the ending, please? It was just not it for me. I wasn't invested in the story. I didn't care who was the killer. And when I found out who it was, I wanted to throw this book out of a window. I said what I said. The next book in my list, The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas, another book that I read for the Summerween readathon. So this book follows this girl, and her sister was a cheerleader. Her sister died in a car accident, and all of the cheerleaders started to go missing or die after that, so they thought someone was killing the cheerleaders back then. And the anniversary of the horrible thing is approaching, and she starts to find some clues as to what happened, and she starts to investigate. I hated the main character. She was just super annoying, a pick-me girl. She was just not interesting to read about, so I didn't care about what she was saying. This was super cliche. It has been done over and over and over again in the thriller genre. Nothing new, nothing you need to pick up because it's crazy good. It's just meh. It has been done before. We didn't need this. So yeah. And the next book was The Family Upstairs by Liza Jewell, which hurts my soul because this book is beautiful. This was just a super letdown. So this is a cult story. This follows Libby Jones, and she receives a letter. When she opens the letter, she finds out who her birth parents really are, and that she's the sole inheritor of an abandoned mansion. I loved the premise of this book. I thought that was super interesting, but I was waiting for the thriller part, and it never came. I was waiting for a super big plot twist. It was just a little one, and it wasn't my favorite plot twist. But this is like, oh, an okay book. I put it here as a disappointment because I was expecting so much more of it. Maybe I hyped it up on my head, and that's why I was let down by this book, but I do recommend you pick it up. It wasn't the worst book in this list. It was just a book that let me down. So yeah. The next book in my list, Insurgent by Veronica Roth. Do I even need to talk about this again? I feel like this book has been mentioned over and over on my channel of how bad it is. So this book is in the second book in the Divergent series. So Divergent follows this girl named Tris who lives in a world where there are 5 factions, and you need to be put into these factions. If you can't, then you're a Divergent and you're going to be killed. Insurgent had no plot. Insurgent had no character development. Insurgent had no meaning. Insurgent was just boring. I really wanted to like this. I read Divergent in a paperback, and then I went one step further and I bought the whole series in this pretty hardback cover, and do I regret it? Yes. This was just not good. I didn't see the story going anywhere with this book. It was just like a bunch of ramblings. It was super chunky, but literally nothing happens. Ask me anything about Insurgent. I don't remember anything. Nothing stuck with me. That's how forgettable it is. The next book I have on my list was Panic by Lauren Oliver. I just don't like her as an author. Like 2 of her books in my worst books of the year, that's not a good sign. This book follows these seniors who are competing in a game called Panic. Panic is a super dangerous game, and whoever is able to finish and be the last one standing wins a lot of money. And we follow Heather, who's competing to win this money, and Dodge. This enraged me. And there are tigers in this book. I don't know where the tigers came from, but I repeat, tigers. And it's not like a challenge of Panic. It was just literally tigers in a cage that escape and are on the streets. Oh, and the ending was the worst part, I think, because they do some terrible things in this book, and in the end, everything is forgiven. Everyone's okay. Happily ever after. Like, no, I could have read a classic for happily ever after. I want a thriller. It was just super let down. I did not like this one. Let it snow. I talked about this in my December wrap up. I'll link it in the cards and down below. So let me just tell you what this book is about first. This book is 3 short stories compiled together, all about Christmas and things like that, but it did not get me the Christmas feels or vibes. It just angered me. Especially John Green's story. So his jokes or whatever were extremely sexist. Not funny at all. It enraged me as a woman to read the jokes the guys were making about the cheerleaders. Gross. Like, I don't know when this was written, 2020? 2008, but like, come on, man. You could have done better. And it had no reason to be there. The jokes could have just been wiped out and nothing different would have happened. So this just enraged me instead of putting me in a happy, fluffy Christmas mood. The stories were boring. They just dragged on for forever. I didn't care for the characters. And this is a Netflix movie. I do recommend you watch the movie because it's pretty fun. But, And the last book that I disliked of 2020, The Tourist Attraction by Sarah Morgan Taller. Sorry if I said that wrong. I read this for the Disney Channel Games readathon. It was the group book. And for you to have an idea, we had over 30 people in the red team. And me and only like 3 more people were able to finish this. The rest DNF'd it. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. This book follows this girl who moves into Alaska and insta love. She just falls in love with the bartender the second she steps there, and it's their story. I didn't care. This book is over 500 pages and literally nothing happens. I can't tell you a single thing about this book that I remember. I just remember snow. That's a bad sign. Like, I don't remember what happened. I know they fight in this book and the fight was super random and I was like, wait, hold up, just talk, please. I didn't care if they would end up together. I didn't care if they would make up, make out. I just didn't care. It was just bad. And I'm not a romance person, but I did read quite a few romances this year that I did enjoy. It was just not this one. So yeah, you guys, that was the end of this video. Again, disclaimer, I'm not hating on the authors or you guys. I'm just here to have some fun. I'm just here to make you guys smile. I had a lot of fun filming this video, so please no hate. We good? We good. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment down below what was your worst read of 2020. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If yes, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below to be part of this wonderful family. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!